What is up, YouTube? Sleeping Giant 26, bringing you another edition of my Pro Series. This time, again, with Gustos, and I'm playing against one of the top meta decks, the Mermail Atlanteans. You see my opponent right here. He goes into an early catastor, destroy gulldo, which is gulldo's effect. Allows me to get another one. Best Gusto monster in the deck by far, as far as recruiting wise goes. I had to go into an early daigusto gulldos, and I did not want to, but that's okay. You know, it just sets up for miracle synchro fusion later down the road. And when I did attack with that gulldos, I assumed that they had trag, but looking at my opponent's hand now, I can see they had no trag, but they have the Moulin Glacier, which is very interesting. The interesting thing about these Gustos is that they defend very well. If you have nothing to stop them from searching and recruiting, they will definitely defend and defend and defend. And I strongly believe I have enough support in here to shuffle as much as I can back. Now that may change somewhere down the line. But right now, this is just a testing deck. Not ideal to take to, you know, regionals or YCS or whatever the case may have been. It ain't that good, but it's very fun to play with because it's a deck that'll take your opponent definitely by surprise because they don't expect it. And I'm pretty sure the first thing they're thinking is, well, gee, how the heck I get to their life points? And as you can see, that's one of the effects of having quick draw in here, is to make a rank 5. As I said before in my last video, it doesn't happen that often, but when the opportunity does present itself, I definitely will make one if need be. You see this gorz that's sitting in my hand, one of the best tech-in cards that I have for this deck, and gorz definitely still wins games. As you continue to watch this video, you will see down the road or down later in the duel what I mean by that, because I held this gorz for quite some time until it was necessary to use him and then bring him out. Right now my opponent is making all the plays, plussing, doing what Mermail Atlanteans do. Meanwhile, I got one monster and I'm just recruiting. I'm just trying to survive pretty much. But I don't have much support in terms of I needed miracle synchro fusion ideally, and I wanted my contact with Gustos early as well because my graveyard was filling up really fast. But I didn't have that. But the heavy storm in the MST was just fine. Worked out pretty well. That was a key part of the duel. So that was really good. And you see when he summoned his diva, they didn't have any more targets inside the deck, as you can tell, because there was nothing that the duelist brought out, and he had to attack with diva. Their graveyard's filling up, mine is filling up. Difference is my pile is a lot higher than theirs, especially with all the plussing they were doing earlier. And but that's what Gustos do, just keep your deck, try to keep you from decking out. And as you can see, I warned their monster reborn, in which I felt that was key right there as well. And compulse their Zen mains back. That was pretty big. And finally drew a contact with Gusto to get 2 more targets back inside of the deck and get rid of their mirror force. Ideally, I don't want my opponent to have any back row, especially when the time is right for me to strike. Then that way I don't have anything to worry about. But I sat and wondered, when will the time be for me to strike, because I hadn't pulled nothing at all. And my opponent is studying just making synchros and making big time plays, and everything is going on, and I completely have nothing. I mean completely nothing, but to just continue to rely on the Gustos. And right there I made a magical android. Ideally, magical android is in the extra deck for miracle synchro fusion. It's remove fodder, because I'm not gonna reborn it. I would rather reborn a daigusto gulldos to shuffle my gustos back inside of the deck rather than to reborn a magical android, not unless it called for it and my opponent was at like 2400. But other than that, chances are I would rather go miracle synchro fusion. Avarice came in handy. Very excited that I got that off that duality because I had no more targets, as you can see. Pulled two, and then I got a gulldo, which was real good. Meanwhile, bringing my life points back up. And the good thing about this now is that my opponent had Moulin Glacier, and at some point I thought they were going to drop it early in the duel, but apparently the graveyard just filled up too fast, and they had to hold it. So as it got later and later, I just figured, well, maybe they don't have Moulin Glacier. Either that or they haven't pulled it, and even if they did pull it, they can't drop it because they have more than 5 water monsters inside of the grave. Meanwhile, I'm still doing my recruiting, just trying to keep up the defense wall until I pull a miracle synchro, because again, I didn't pull it at all in this duel. This duel here went at least 40 turns, if I'm not mistaken, and we were going back and forth, messaging each other, talking about it, and it was a really good game, really good game. But as you can see, I'm holding this gorz here very long time because I don't know when there's going to be opportunity for me to use it, but hey, I was definitely going to try to use it at some point because I knew I was running out of recruiters. And I took that tuning off of that duality and activated tuning. I got the quickdraw synchron, discarded, and I was going into a junk archer just to get rid of the Zen materials, even if I couldn't attack over. But you know, they went with the torrential to get rid of my whole entire field, not knowing what I had in hand. It's a good thing I did have this gorz in hand, because gorz definitely still wins games. But I believe I'm gonna try what I'm intend to do is when the new elemental lord comes out, I would definitely like to tech probably about 2 of those inside of this deck, just to test it out, to see where it goes, and just go from there. Hopefully it works out in the favor, because I think it'll be good for the gustos, since they're mostly defensive anyway. So even if you did skip your battle phase, at least you would have a recruiter on board, and you will have nothing to worry about. So as you can see, when I drop the gorz is on field, opponent can't get by, I monster reborn and daigusto gulldos, shuffle 2 back in, hit that megalo, and attack over his Zen mains with both of my monsters, which turned out to be really good move on my part. And you see they have nothing. So again, guys, thanks for watching another segment of my pro series containing my gustos. Again, as I've always said, comment, rate, subscribe, and until next time, peace.